The riveting opening scene of our drama extravaganza. In-woo, the tortured university soul, wakes up from a nightmare, probably about student loans or the horror of morning classes. As he blindly reaches for his water bottle, lo and behold, a mysterious hand plays waiter and thrusts it towards him. Forget the soothing sounds of a waterfall. In-woo's wake-up call is more like a twisted version of Guess the Phantom Water Server. Our hero, not quite the Sherlock Holmes of the morning routine, chugs down the water without a second thought. But, plot twist, he finally notices a girl chilling in the corner, staring at him like he's the latest exhibit at the Museum of Sleep-Deprived Students. Water almost becomes his nemesis as he awkwardly tries not to choke in the presence of this silent, blank-faced spectator. The girl, however, remains as unmoved as a rock. Enter Min-ji, the sister armed with a baseball bat, because nothing says family bonding like a potential ghost attack. She's too scared to go all Braveheart on the silent girl, so she opts for the more sensible approach of jumping onto the bed, assuming the stranger is Casper's distant cousin. The family's heart rate only returns to normal when Dr. Cha, the genius scientist dad, makes his grand entrance. Dr. Cha, the absentee father of the year, reveals that the girl isn't just any girl. She's the latest in AI fashion, an advanced android, and her name is AD number 1. Forget father of the bride, he's the father of the bot. Before he can spill the beans on his groundbreaking research, the android girl casually lifts a table with one hand, making everyone's jaw hit the floor. Well, at least she's not here for a casual tea party. Behold, AD number 1, the Beyoncé of robots, throwing peace signs and all. Dr. Cha proudly declares her the best-known robot to mankind. Move over, R2-D2. You're so last season. But of course, she's still in her learning phase, and her intelligence is equivalent to a high school student. She just needs some more human interaction, because what could possibly go wrong with a highly advanced robot in the emotional turmoil of high school? Dr. Cha, being the wise scientist that he is, leaves AD number 1 with his resentful kids for a few weeks. In-woo protests, like it's the end of the world. But Min-ji, in her infinite wisdom, decides to help her dear father by babysitting the robot, because clearly, what every family needs is an emotionally complex AI to spice things up. After Dr. Cha exits stage left, Min-ji gets cozy with the robot, now named Annie, and they have a heart-to-metal heart conversation. Min-ji is so amazed by Annie's intelligence that she welcomes her into the family. Well, isn't that just the modern version of a family reunion? The next day, Min-ji parades Annie into her high school, introducing her as an American transfer student and her cousin. The students are thrilled to have someone from across the pond, because nothing says international relations like befriending a robot. And just when you think things can't get weirder, Min-ji enlists her brooding brother In-woo to chauffeur Annie. Why? Because Min-ji has a one-day business trip, and heaven forbid Annie takes public transport. In-woo, being the picture of enthusiasm, reluctantly becomes Annie's Uber driver for the day. In just one day, Annie morphs from a shiny piece of AI into a clingy friend, begging Min-ji not to go on her business trip. Because nothing says attachment issues like an android wanting its human to stick around. Oh, the joys of family life with a touch of artificial intelligence. A tale as old as time, or at least as old as the latest software update. So, our dear In-woo, the reluctant Uber driver for our metallic friend, clearly wants nothing to do with her. Annie, being the empathetic AI she is, graciously decides to spare him the agony and sends him back to class. Come nighttime, and In-woo is tossing and turning in his bed, plagued by mysterious feelings about his father. Maybe it's the pepperoni pizza he had for dinner, or maybe it's just the unsettling realization that his life is turning into a sci-fi melodrama. He calls up Dr. Cha, who casually claims to be just chilling in the neighborhood, planning to drop by and see Annie. Spoiler alert, things are about to get more exciting. Lo and behold, right after the call, Dr. Cha becomes the target of a mysterious assailant who, with ninja-like precision, attacks him and snatches away his phone. Because apparently, in this gripping tale of family dynamics and advanced AI, even neighborhood strolls are high-stakes adventures. The following day at school, our Iron Woman in skirt manages to strike up a friendship with the class president and her bestie. They seem to enjoy her company, even though Annie is usually about as talkative as a library on a Sunday. She observes them like a robot Sherlock, analyzing behavioral patterns and being utterly fascinated by the mystical art of giggling. Ah, the wonders of human interaction through the eyes of an AI. Meanwhile, in a completely different universe, In-woo is on a date with his girlfriend, Seulgi. Enter Dr. Cha's concerned colleague, Kevin, who's apparently the local gossip queen. He's worried about the good doctor and his radio silence since last night. Kevin also happens to be Minji's boyfriend and is basically 1 degree of separation away from being everyone's concerned uncle. In-woo, the beacon of helpful information, promises to let Kevin know if he hears from his father. Spoiler alert, he won't. Back home, Minji stumbles upon Annie making faces in the mirror. Annie then asks her what is the meaning of smiles and happiness. But oh no, these questions are way too profound for Minji's brain cells. She brushes it off with the profound wisdom that Annie will figure it out when she feels it. Deep, Minji. Real, deep. Later, at the dinner table, In-woo is less than thrilled about Annie's presence. He's probably upset that she's not contributing to the family feast with her non-existent appetite. But Minji, in a moment of pure enlightenment, declares Annie a family member who deserves a spot at the table. Annie, in return, experiences a warm emotion for the first time, though she's still figuring out if it's heartburn or something more profound. In the next riveting scene, Minji and Kevin have a cafe date. Kevin is still worrying about Dr. Cha's mysterious vanishing act, but Minji, being the cool cucumber she is, brushes it off like a speck of lint on her shoulder. When Kevin mentions an AI robot project, Minji's eyes light up, and she decides to bring him home to meet Annie, because nothing says romantic date like introducing your boyfriend to your robot sibling. Meanwhile, in Annie's world, she's casually strolling home from school when she bumps into the same shady figure who attacked Dr. Cha, In-woo, in a moment of unlikely heroism, hides her behind a bush. Annie, always the drama queen, claims Dr. Cha warned her about the man, suggesting that their family has some serious drama lurking in the background. Later, Annie has a little reunion with Kevin, casually dropping his name like they're old buddies. Turns out, he was Dr. Cha's assistant in the robot development phase. Kevin, being the overenthusiastic scientist, wants to take Annie back to the lab, but hold the robotic horses. Annie refuses, declaring she'd rather stick with Minji. Cue the battle for Annie's custody between Kevin and Minji, because nothing says love triangle like 2 humans fighting over shared custody of an AI robot. Back home, Annie, with the attention span of a goldfish, watches BTS's performance on TV. She claims her friends talk about the boy band a lot. Sure, Annie, because robots are known for their extensive social circles. And of course, she learns the dance choreography while she's at it, because why not add some K-pop vibes to this already fantastical tale? So, our dear Minji is all on board with Annie's new hobby of watching TV. Minji, being the supportive friend she is, probably hands Annie some popcorn and cheers her on. The true MVP of robot-human friendships. Fast forward to the next school day, and surprise, surprise, Annie becomes the target of a secret admirer who showers her with gifts and asks her out on a date. But hold on, there's a plot twist. The school bully, who apparently has a crush on the same guy, decides to rain on Annie's parade and threatens her to stay away, because high school romance is just as complicated as advanced calculus. In a stunning turn of events, when the bully and her cronies try to throw down with Annie's new squad, our metallic wonder effortlessly stops them with her iron hands. Minji, the eagle-eyed enforcer of justice, sees the chaos and punishes everyone involved, including poor Annie. They're made to stand outside with their hands up until they're practically auditioning for a sore arm Olympics. But fear not, because when the coast is clear, the girls decide to play hooky from school. Annie, the hesitant rebel, joins them for a day of shenanigans. First stop, the arcade, where she casually dominates every round in a claw machine like a robot with a mission. Then, they hit up a karaoke place where Annie unleashes her dance moves, learned from TV, because nothing says cool robot like busting a move in the middle of a karaoke joint. As the day unfolds, they stroll through a park, and bam! Annie smiles for the first time, all thanks to her newfound human companions. It's a Kodak moment, or should I say, an Apple iPhoto moment, in the making. In an unexpected twist, In-woo, our brooding hero, dreams of Annie running away from danger, only to wake up and find her hovering over him like a morning alarm clock with an attitude. She's there to drag him to breakfast, and when he refuses, she pulls a Minji move, grabbing his ears and making him giggle. Looks like Annie's got some tricks up her iron sleeves. Later, In-woo takes Annie to meet his girlfriend, Seulgi. As the lovebirds exchange sweet nothings, Annie, in a fit of robo-jealousy, throws shade at Seulgi, calling her frog face. Drama alert, because nothing says love triangle like a robot getting in the middle of human romance. In the aftermath, Annie and In-woo awkwardly sit at home, discussing the day's events. Annie drops the bomb that she feels weird around In-woo. He dismisses it as a program error, but secretly, he's probably contemplating the complexities of robot-human relationships. Oh, the drama, the intrigue. Meanwhile, Kevin, the seemingly oblivious scientist, comes to pick up Minji but gets the cold shoulder. Minji is disappointed that he sees Annie as a thing rather than a human. Kevin spills the beans that today is Annie's first birthday. Surprise. Minji pulls a last-minute celebration plan, and In-woo, being the dutiful sidekick, takes Annie on a shopping spree and brings her to a park before the grand birthday reveal. Because nothing says birthday surprise like a robot shopping spree. At the party, Annie is showered with love and cake by Minji, Kevin, and her friends, Tae-hee and Jiun. She's overjoyed that they care about her so much, despite being just a collection of circuits and wires. Next day at school, our robotic heroine and her squad are chosen for a relay race at the sports meet. They practice, teach Annie the rules, and she even pretends to be tired to fit in. But wait, there's a twist. Annie needs to recharge, and Tae-hee, being the unwitting detective, stumbles upon her plugged into a charger. Cue the drama. Thankfully, Minji swoops in like the superhero friend she is, calming Tae-hee down and averting a potential robot apocalypse. Back at home, Annie, in her metallic existential crisis, questions Minji about why she's different from her friends. She's confused about her existence, but Minji, with the burden of explaining robot feelings, is at a loss for words. Oh, buckle up, folks, because the drama train just made another stop in the life of Annie, the robot sensation with more emotional baggage than a high school love triangle. The next day, Annie doesn't want to leave her room. In-woo sits by her door and tells her that her friends will like her just as she is. He also admits that he used to feel unsure about her, like her friends, but he thinks differently now. All of a sudden, Annie comes into the house, showing she was never in her room. In-woo greets her with a bit of embarrassment and lets her inside. Annie, feeling like the star of her own teenage soap opera, is suddenly super confident about going to school the next day. She's on a mission to fix things with Tae-hee, who's been giving her the cold shoulder faster than an ice cream cone on a hot day. But oh no, during class, Tae-hee pulls a classic high school move, the ultimate ignore. During recess, Annie, with all the courage of a superhero in spandex, approaches Tae-hee to apologize for being a robot. However, Tae-hee, in a dramatic twist, calls her scary and basically tells her to take a hike. Annie, heartbroken and rejected, runs off into the wilderness like she's auditioning for the next survival reality show. By the end of the day, the truth comes out, and Tae-hee realizes she might have been a teensy bit too hasty in judging Annie. In-woo, with the memory of a dream where Annie ran down a dark alley, mobilizes the group to find our elusive robot friend. Meanwhile, the shady stranger who's been following Annie decides it's the perfect time for a kidnapping plot twist. Annie's battery conveniently runs out, making her unconscious, just as the group arrives to save the day. The kidnapper, not wanting a cameo on Cops, makes a run for it. The following day at school, Tae-hee is still giving Annie the silent treatment. But surprise, surprise! She opens her locker to find it filled with her favorite drink and an apology note. Now let's shift gears to In-woo's romantic escapades. In-woo decides to play the date card with Seulgi. But whoa, he's been all kinds of strange lately. Seulgi, the friendship expert with a 5-year diploma in In-woology, goes, "Hold up, pal, let's keep this friendship train rolling. 5 years is enough drama for us." After a bizarre encounter with Seulgi, he picks up Annie from school and takes her to the park. He insists on being the knight in shining armor, offering to carry her heavy bag, only to fail miserably. Annie, in a move straight out of a rom-com, confesses her feelings and plants a kiss on In-woo's cheek. Plot twist. He admits he feels the same way. Cue the slow motion running through a field of flowers. Later that day, In-woo stumbles upon a forgotten laptop in the storeroom. Surprise, surprise. It's his father's. He plays a video message and bam, Daddy drops the bomb. Annie isn't just your regular robot. She's got the feels. Her processor is loaded with Mom's memories, making her the ultimate emotional time bomb. In-woo, feeling like he's been played by his own feelings, accuses Annie of betrayal and orders her to hit the road. Annie, trying to be the voice of reason, tells him she's not his mother, but In-woo, in classic dramatic fashion, refuses to listen. And just like that, Annie pulls a Houdini and vanishes into the night. Oh, but the drama doesn't end there. The shady stranger makes a comeback, thinking he's got the upper hand this time. Plot twist. Annie unleashes her superhuman strength, and the stranger is left questioning his life choices. The superhero robot prevails, and we're left wondering if Annie's next move involves a cape and a secret lair. Picture this. Annie gets a bullet as a souvenir just as In-Woo swoops in like a half-hearted superhero. Fast forward a month, and surprise, surprise, Annie's got amnesia. Because what's a good robot drama without a memory wipe, right? Our protagonists, In-Woo and Minji, play the roles of the disappointed parents, accepting that their metallic marvel needs some quality time in the lab. Kevin, the scientist with a flair for unnecessarily complex names, calls Annie by her scientific title. But nope, Annie's having none of that. She corrects him and drops the bomb that her memory miraculously coming back. Cue the applause for the robot with a memory more resilient than a cockroach in a nuclear apocalypse.